Hey, so we got these 2 racks that we ordered from Di Braga. They come cold and not frozen, which I prefer. And they also trimmed it and did most of the prep work for us. Now this step is going to be a little controversial, but I'm from the Caribbean and typically we give our meat a little bit of a wash in some salt and some vinegar. We're going to leave that on for about 5 minutes before washing that off. Next, we're going to want to trim the skirt off the ribs. Di Braga did a pretty good job of trimming that for us. I just see one piece that's hanging, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Really, what you're looking to do here is just trim those ribs until they're fairly even. If they're even, they're going to have a nice cook rate. Next, we're going to remove the membrane from the back of the rack. Now, you don't have to do this step, but it's just going to make your ribs look a little nicer, and that membrane is going to get hard with that 6-hour smoke time we're aiming for. So what you're going to want to do is grab a knife, use that knife to lift the corner of the membrane off the rack, and once you get enough that you think you can grip it, take a paper towel and start to pull it off. Now trust me here, that paper towel is going to make your life a hell of a lot more easy. Great, now that the ribs are all prepped, we're just going to pat these ribs down to get rid of any excess moisture. Now you're going to want to apply a thin coat of mustard to the ribs. The mustard isn't really going to change any of the flavor, and some people use oil here. The goal is just to help the rub stick to the ribs. I've done ribs without oil, without mustard. No matter what you do at this stage, it's not going to affect the rub. And those ribs are going to come out great no matter what. Oh yeah, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. I'm putting John Henry's rub on, and I can already tell this is going to give our ribs a beautiful color. Now don't be shy with those rubs, make sure you get it coated, and also don't forget the back. Next up is rub some butt. Now you can already see the difference. I don't think this rub has sugar in it, so that's why we aren't seeing any of that shiny syrupy glaze. This will be interesting. I've never used a rub that was yellow, and I wonder how that's going to affect the bark color. Now when you're done giving your ribs a bath in those rubs, give them a nice shake and all the excess rub will come off. It's the next morning and we're going to start the smoker. I like to use a chimney starter and I've got some good lump charcoal. We're going to give the chimney starter about 15 minutes to get these coals lit. Once those coals are nice and hot, we're going to dump them into our smoker. In this case, we're using an offset smoker, so we've got our basket on the side. Now the only thing left to do is to close the smoker and let it heat up. I'm looking for a temperature around 250 to 300, so I'm going to wait for the smoker to reach 300 before I open it and put those ribs in. Once that temperature is where I want it, I'm going to throw in my hickory wood. Alright, the smoker is ready and we're going to lay those ribs in. We also got some lamb on the menu today, and those rubs have a clear color difference. Now we're going to close the smoker and check on these guys in an hour. Alright, 1 hour in and the ribs are starting to get some better color. At this point I'm just going to spray them with a little apple juice to keep them moist. Two hours in, and both of the ribs are starting to get that red smoke color. Another spray with apple juice and we are good to go. So we're doing the 3-2-1 method today, and anyone not familiar, that's 3 hours in your smoker, the ribs just naked. Then you're gonna wrap them in foil and you're gonna spritz them with a little bit of apple juice or whatever you really want to spritz them with. Wrap them up in some foil, leave them in that smoker for 2 hours. Finally, you're gonna unwrap them, put them back on the grill for 1 hour. If you're doing a wet rub, this is when you would apply your wet rub. It'll help caramelize that barbecue sauce. Today we're doing dry rubs, so just leaving it there for that 1 hour. After 2 hours in the foil, we're gonna unwrap them and they're gonna go back in the smoker for about 1 hour. And looks like those baby wings grew up. It's been an hour and I'm happy with the ribs at this point. So we're just gonna let them rest and then we're gonna chop these guys up. Check out the color on the honey rub. The mustard rub has some color too, but I was expecting it to be a little more yellow. In the end, both look great. Time to taste these ribs. So first we got the mustard rub, and it's okay. It's not my favorite. There's no sweetness, which I kinda need in ribs. It's got a nice spice on the aftertaste, but it's just okay. The honey rub is up next, and right away I get that sweetness. And I get all the flavors I expect out of a rub for ribs. This didn't really blow me away, but it's not bad. Honestly, it's a solid rub for anyone who wants some good ribs. I could go into the flavors a bit more here, but I honestly think they're both a bit standard. They're both very mild, and I was really expecting more from the mustard rub, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any rubs you'd like me to try, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.